All right, so in the last video, we blocked out just some shapes, simple shapes for the building. And the reason I didn't start off with a mannequin or a model for site reference right away is because I really want to press upon you to look at size relationships when it comes to modeling. That's how you train your brain and your eye to be able to model something pretty close to what it is in a reference. So let me kind of go back to the to Blender and PureRef just to show you what I mean by that again. So what I mean by that is a lot of artists will go in, environment artists especially, and newbies, when they're first like trying to get their model down right, they tend to here. Let me hit F to focus on this for a second, or my period key. There we go. They tend to spend time just learning to copy or model reference. So, for example, they try to train their eye to see like how big of a distance is it between here and here and here without having to measure, or from here to the end of this post. And that's a good idea to just keep modeling as much as you can until you've trained your eye enough where you could see those relationships pretty closely. But you do definitely need to use a mannequin as reference to see how high you should make the door because you're not going to be using real world units when you're building your doorways and your windows to have your character jump through. It just doesn't make sense. With collision and other things that might be on your character, you have to essentially make it a little bit bigger by maybe a foot in each direction than the door normally would. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can export out a mannequin from Unreal and then we can import it into Blender. So here we are back in Unreal, and I have inside of my content folder here a folder called characters. And inside of there, look for a folder called mannequin, and then you want to go to the meshes folder. And what we can do is there's Manny and there's Quinn. So pick whatever one you like and then just right click on it. And then you're going to see asset actions here and go ahead and go down to export. And then what I want to do is just instead of the content folder is I'm going to expand this on the desktop. I'm just going to throw this SKM Manny simple and as an FBX, I'm going to hit save. And letting it export is fine. The settings, default settings are totally cool. Let's hit export here, let it go, and then let's jump back into Blender. All right, so here we are back in Blender, and what I want to do is just go up to the left-hand corner here, click on File, then go down to Import, and I want to import in the FBX for that. I'm going to navigate to the desktop, and I'm just going to look for my SKM Manny Simple, and double-click that. And you should see here now an SKM Manny Simple model, and you can move this around. And this is going to give us, we go and hit period on my keyboard to zoom in, just a character, a rough character to look at or to use as a reference. We don't actually need like these joints. So if you select root here and you hit X, you could delete those out. It looks like it's still skin. Let's see if it, yeah, I guess we do need it because the reference is there. Maybe if we select the Manny model here, looks like we got all of our LED groups here. There's two here. Uh, yeah, this is like a higher res and this is a lower one. Um, let's go ahead and let's see if we select the mesh. Yeah, here's our mesh. Let me see if I can, what this gives us. Yeah, here's our meshes. These are our materials rather. All right, let's select this. I'm going to hit Control A and then reset all transforms. And then see if I hit Shift or P here. Let's see if I could select Mandy here. Then hit P or Control P. Let's see. Alt P, clear parent. Yeah, it looks like it brought that up pretty good. And then yeah, so I think I've got the idea. All right, so let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna undo this. All right. And what I'll do is I'll keep this because there's an LOD. There's multiple meshes here. You can see. And let's see if I select this root mesh. Let's see, can I detach that without it messing up? What I'll do is I'll select that root mesh. I'll hit Control P or Command P, and actually let's do Alt P or Option P, and let's clear the parent. And then I'm going to press S and just scale that all the way down. Just move it back in place. So we get a rough idea of the mannequin size from Unreal. Yeah, that looks about right. Let's move that off to the side. And what I want to do is make sure my scale is reset. So I'm going to hit Control or Command A and then just do scale. And then what I could do here is now that that's a separate entity, I can go ahead and just delete this guy out. So let's hit X and then just delete this guy. And let's delete this big guy out here too. Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay. Delete these bones, delete this. And there might be one more. Yeah, it looks like there's a couple here. So I'm just gonna hit period on my numpad, select that. Let's see which one is smaller. Yeah, let's get rid of this LED group. All right, so that took a little bit of cleaning, so make sure to save that. And to save your file, so I'm gonna name this beach house. Just gonna put this in documents for now. All right, so now we have our mannequin, and we roughly sized it out to the size of our mannequin inside of Unreal. So now we could see like, all right, this could be when we go to adjust the size of this or bring these faces in, we've got to make sure that we've got a pretty good slope that's going to match the height of this character, right? So, all right, so let's go ahead and continue to model. So all we're going to do is continue on with what we have before. So we need to put another, we need to create the roof here, and then we need to create another little shack part that's going to sit on the front. So what I'm going to do for that is let's go ahead and bring our Manny model and grab our move tool, and I'm just going to place him here. And the doorway seems a bit high here, right? Like I look at this doorway here. So all of this probably needs to come down quite a bit to about here. So let's actually do a couple things. Let's clear this out so it's no longer apparent. So Option P and hit clear parent. And let's also um, get rid of the how this is all like one object. All right, so the way we do that is we select this out the house itself. We hit tab, we go to edit mode, and then I'm just going to press the P as in Paul key and do by loose parts. Hit tab again and go to object mode, and now we should have all of our pieces back. And we can grab these individual pieces here, and I'm actually going to move my pivot. So I'm going to right click and then do, let's see if it's in here. I guess we have to go to object, set origin, origin to geometry, or not 3D cursor. Origin to geometry. There we go. And then we could just kind of pull this down and look at something like that. Now to build this house part here, we're going to do a little bit more advanced modeling. So not too difficult, but just a little bit more advanced than what we're used to. I'm going to hit tab and I'm going to go to edit mode. I'm going to select this top face. I was already in face mode. And then I'm just going to press the E key and I'm going to scale that up. And then what I want to do is just grab my scale tool here and then just kind of move it in sideways like that. Geez, looks like it was kind of snappy a little bit there. You could also hit S and then X and then do it that way too. And so we've got a rough approximation of what that roof should be. Again, probably too high, but that's okay. We're just sort of building, we're gray boxing out the shapes. Next thing here is let's go back to object mode here. And I'm just going to grab this shape here and form that. You could also hit Shift A, go to mesh and then cube. And you can see our cube is down below. Just pull that up and place that where it needs to go here. Something like that. And it looks like the top of this is aligned with this. So I'm just going to hit tab, go to edit mode, and just start grabbing these faces. And just looks like it goes almost right up to the side of that balcony. Hit shift and spacebar to grab my move tool. I could just hit G and X. And then this side goes all the way almost to here. And there is a little bit of a slant. I do see that, but that's going to happen during the refinement phase. And mine is a little bit it's a little bit too wide. So let's bring that in a little bit because it's really narrow. So that also means my deck might be too wide. And then let's bring this up. Again, we can refine all of these shapes. Right now, we're just trying to capture everything. So E to extrude, and then shift space bar if you want to scale, or hit S, and then Z, or S and Y rather, and then out this way. And you can see that is a way too high of a peak. So, and it looks like it does come about halfway. So I think I overestimated that. So let's bring it down to about halfway. That's looking a lot better. And all of this might need to come out because see how the distance here, this looks like it's, I mean, it could maybe when we add in these posts. So let's go ahead and grab this side face here and pull that over just a little bit so it lines up with the side of the building. And let's center this as well. Saving that. And then let's go ahead and check it out. So let's go to object mode and let's see if we can actually bring it back in. So we have all these selected, file, export selected, or export FBX here. And I don't know if it's going to come in because right now we're doing separate pieces and not one big mesh. Let's make sure smoothing faces is on. And let's hit override for beach house. Let's go back to Unreal. All right, here we are. Let's hit import. Some of the assets would need to be re-imported manually. Hit OK. Let's see what happened. So here's our, no, it looks pretty good. Doesn't look bad. I didn't do selected objects. So that's a problem. It's not a problem, but that's why we have the character in there, but it's definitely getting there. So I feel like this is a good place to stop. We'll continue on in the next lecture to the gray boxing process with, creating posts and all the other little knickknacks. And again, we're going to have to keep modifying the shape of this so that it feels right. The spatial relationships between all the different things. So I'm stressing that point again because I don't want you to feel bad if you're like, my gosh, I'm having a hard time catching the shape. Modeling is a refinement process. That's why we try to stay as low in the shape language as we can, like with gray boxes, before we move on to more advanced details like modeling rocks and like little objects like the vases and stuff. Anyway, I'll see you in the next lecture.